Representative Santos has been arrested, and fighting continues in the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut. The 299 News starts Saturday.
Welcome to the 299 News. I'm Matt.
Maiden.
And I'm Cole. Boys, I have such big news that it's going to make Matt want to go shave his beard,
What is that?
run a couple laps, drink some Coca-Cola, read the Holy Bible, and then read the Quran, and then read every other religious scripture for every single religion ever. All
Holy
right, it's
shit,
that
what
big
is
of
it?
news. All right, well, our first headline today: Conservative Representative George Santos of New York has been arrested, and I've heard, Aiden, you got a little bit of a summary for us?
Yeah, a little bit. I'll just read the basics, but we're not going to dwell on it too much, because it's kind of the last thing I want to talk about, honestly. U.S. politics. But anyway. New York Representative George Santos pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to 13 federal charges, including theft of public funds, counts of wire fraud, money laundering, and lying to the U.S. House of Representatives. He said he won't be resigning from Congress, and he plans on running for re-election despite his arraignment. Kind of like some other Republican that we won't mention by name. He was released on a
Sounds
$500,000.
familiar.
Yeah, he does sound a little familiar. He had a TV show at one point. He was released on a $500,000 bond and has surrendered his passport and will need court approval to travel beyond Washington and New York. Prosecutors claim that Santos used his campaign funds on his own personal expenses, kind of like,
His expenditures,
yeah, like his own stuff, basically, and
luxuries.
And he applied for COVID-related unemployment benefits fraudulently, even though he is a co-sponsor of a bill that would recoup fraudulent COVID unemployment insurance benefits. The who writes the rules breaks the rules.
Solid.
Yep.
Man, this guy gets better by the second.
Yeah. So that's the main headline that everyone's talking about as of today. But I hear we have some news about the Russia-Ukrainian war, so let's shift gears to that. Starting with Matt.
So, as not everyone, but most people know, fighting has been raging on in Bakhmut. It's been going on for 9 months now. Ukraine is continuing to hold off the Russians, even with heavy casualties on both sides. They don't want to retreat from or allow the Russians to take Bakhmut, not because the city is a strategic location, but because it would benefit Ukraine in the future. The reason for that is, right, if I find my notes, Ukraine, I can believe them. Because if Ukraine can hold off the Russians, they would be able to bleed the Russians' resources and equipment. And in addition, they've been successful, holding off the Russians, so they don't have to bring armored divisions, which are necessary for a huge counteroffensive. Recently, we've been hearing about how Ukraine is preparing for a large counteroffensive against the Russians, and so much of this is in preparation for it. They don't want to add or risk losing any equipment, including armored vehicles, and they want to damage the Russian morale and, logistics as much as possible. But the casualties have been increasing, and Bakhmut is being destroyed. In quote from the BBC News, Bakhmut is burning. So far, 20,000 Russians have died in the past 5 months. Regardless, they continue to attempt to push the Ukrainians out of Bakhmut unsuccessfully, but with still determination. Ukrainians are so surprised by this determination, they say and I quote, they must be on drugs, said from a Ukrainian soldier in response to the Russian persistence. The Russians are mostly from the Wagner Group, which is a paramilitary organization, like a network of mercenaries and a de facto private army for Vladimir Putin. So pretty much that's it. It doesn't show that fighting is going to be ending anytime soon. The Ukrainians are not willing to give up Bakhmut, and the Russians look as if they're not looking to end their offensive. And questions arise: why do the Russians keep trying to take Bakhmut when they're unsuccessful, losing resources and losing lives? It's because
It's like the entire war. Sorry, guys, I had to cough.
The Russian commandment is highly unorganized, and the communication and coherence is terrible. They are.
It's almost like me when I play Hoi 4.
Exactly. They don't They're the factions.
Wow, you just
army,
immediately agreed with me. Oh my. That immediately striking me down, bro. You didn't even hesitate to say yes and agree with that. Wow.
Yes, I do agree with that.
Together.
I do agree with that. But
After
I'm just
me taking Estonia, this is how you're gonna treat me.
Anyway, we appreciate the Hoi 4 reference, Cole.
Alright, back to what you're saying.
So the Russian military is, like I said, unorganized and incoherent. Therefore, they cannot communicate with each other effectively and withdraw their troops from the city, even though they're losing lives and resources and weakening themselves in the upcoming and anticipated Ukrainian counteroffensive. And we don't know when that's going to happen. It could be a week, a month. They're still preparing, but from what I heard from the U.S. is that they're getting close. The U.S. is supplying them to make sure that they have the necessary equipment to counter the Russians, but we don't know. It'll probably be sometime soon. But yeah. In addition, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. Do you guys want to add anything to that?
No. I think, so, I mean, I pulled up a map while you were talking about where Bakhmut is. I see it's right on the Donbass region, right near the militarization line. So, yeah.
Yeah. What I've heard is that the Russians are attempting to encircle Bakhmut and form it like a siege. I don't know if they already have. Probably have, but
they probably have. They've tried that like on every city at this point.
Yeah. What is it called? Like a pincer maneuver, where they
I don't know.
encircle. I think that's what they call it with when they like. That's what the Germans used against the Russians in the Second World War, where they would use like quick armored divisions to outmaneuver them and flank them and trap them. Pincer, yeah. Pincer. But yeah. So more about the Russian-Ukraine war. Last Wednesday, more specifically, a drone strike hit the top of the Kremlin. The Russians are pretty pissed. They say they blame Ukraine, but Ukraine denies it. Russia even says it's an assassination attempt against Putin. The Ukrainians say it's an attempt by Russia to justify the war and maybe even another offensive, which makes sense. It could. There's a theory that Russia, or my theory, I don't know. Other people probably would say the same thing, that Russia planned it and that was their drone, and they're just making it up to justify a war against Ukraine and blame on Ukraine. But
Well, who else are they gonna blame it on?
yeah, and also, and I just don't see it as how that would, because there has been a lot of explosions and drone attacks recently. It's becoming more common, and I don't see it how Ukraine, what they were planning on doing, because if you look at the footage, like I said, the explosion is really not that impressive. It's literally, it's not just a poof, but there's an explosion, but it's not like it destroyed the building. It's just at the top of it and just bam. Kind of looked like a bird just came and just exploded in flames. It's so weird, but
is it kind of like that one baseball moment where, like, I think it was like the Diamondbacks or whatever, but the pitcher threw the ball and the
bird, Randy Johnson to pitch, and it hit the bird.
The bird exploded, literally. Was it kind of like that, or?
I don't know if that's in that clip.
No, I don't think it. I think it's more of a fiery explosion. Than I don't think you would get that from a baseball hitting a bird, but
I'll put it side by side.
Put it side by side, okay. But Ukraine says it's not. It did not. That was not their drone. It says it's using its resources to defend itself. This explosion comes at a time when anticipation. I talked about this before. Anticipation for a Ukrainian offensive. There's skepticism because of it's convenient time for this to happen. But last Thursday, Russia has now extended its allegations from Ukraine to the U.S., saying, quote, from Russian spokesperson, "We are all aware that the decisions on such actions and terrorist attacks is not made in Kiev, but in Washington." Russia is saying that the Ukrainians conducted or pulled this attack, but the U.S. was behind it. The U.S. orchestrated it. And there is no evidence to support this. It's a lot of Russian allegations. But yeah, it's another example of Russia blaming Ukraine for its misfortunes.
Failures.
Yeah. It's an embarrassment for Putin because it exposes not only the vulnerability of Russian security, but also the ineffectiveness of air defense. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
Are we gonna move on?
Yes,
Yeah.
let's move on to tech news.
Long, yeah. Okay.
Tech.
That was a horrible segue. Just letting you know.
Yep, I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Let's start with some lame news and work our way up. Remember the Razr phones?
No.
The flip phones? Okay.
To be honest, I literally never heard of a Razr phone.
The Moto Razr? It was like the...
Oh, I've heard of a Motorola.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well. So you guys probably won't get this, but there was a phone back in 2004, 2005 called the Motorola Razr. It was like a really popular flip phone. Everyone had one up till the iPhone came out. Then, well, everyone went smartphones.
Then it was over.
Yeah. It was kind of like the first real, like, because it was like Nokia, and then it was Motorola, and Razr, and Crazer, and Silver. Anyway. So
my English teacher still has a Nokia.
Oof.
She still has. She said she told herself she was never gonna switch, and she never switched.
Well, at least she's actually followed through her word. Most people can't say that, so
it's in good shape. So
yeah. So anyway, so they're so they brought back the Razr line a couple years ago, like these foldable phones, kind of like these foldable flip phones. They call them the Razr.
Yeah.
They resemble
like the Google Pixel that like flips in half.
Yeah, the one that just came out today. We'll get to that later. So there's new leaks of a Motorola Razr 40 is what it's called. I'm guessing it's to line it up with the Motorola Edge name. This is like their flagship smartphone now. They're just starting to do flagship phones again. They did like they were making like track phones and Moto G's forever. Now they're like actually getting back in the flagship game, which is good. Not to
Bro,
say
I gotta
that,
go buy one right now. Oh my goodness.
yeah, not to
Dude.
say Motorola was ever bad, because like Motorola has been okay. It's just
Mediocre at best.
just mediocre. Like there are better brands like Samsung and maybe LG when they were still around, but eventually I think Motorola surpassed LG and LG just kind of died off. But anyway, story for another time. The Razr 40 is gonna be coming in a couple different colors. It's gonna come in like a vanilla cream color, a sage green color, and a
Ugh.
summer lilac. Yeah, these I don't know.
Those all sound like terrible colors. Now I don't want one anymore.
And-
What is this trash? Who said they wanted those colors? Did they survey the right people?
Nope.
Did they like survey a bunch
Dude,
of like
it gets even worse. Vegan
No.
leather finish.
Oh,
Now I know who they surveyed.
oh, freaking vegan, vegan lady.
The vegan teacher's been all over this.
Oh no.
This is a product. No.
It's gonna
That-
launch at like 900 euros or $1,000 American dollars. 256 gigs of storage base to begin with, which is good, I guess, but just yeah. Enough about Motorola. Let's talk Google, because they actually came out with some okay phones today, actually, at Google I/O. Okay, maybe one. The other one I'm not so convinced on. It's like an $1,800 folding phone, which just I don't know. It's fine, but I think $1,800 is asking too much. It'd probably be more worth it if they kept it at $1,400 like the original plan was, but oh well. Guess they're gonna have a flop on their hands, I guess, unless they lower the price.
I can't wait till it completely pops off just to prove you wrong.
Yeah, I don't know about that. They released a update to the Pixel 6a today. It's the Pixel 7a. It's $50 more expensive, which doesn't sound so great until you realize it comes with a wireless charger and a 90 hertz refresh rate and upgraded 64 megapixel camera. So
Solid.
not bad. $500 for that. It's all right. You know, you could probably get by with that. But yeah. So those are the phones that Google announced today, and I guess Google's AI would be used at a Wendy's drive-thru to take orders.
Why?
What?
Wait, say that again?
I guess Google's AI is going to be taking orders at Wendy's in Columbus, Ohio.
Bro, I was just there. I was just at Columbus a couple weeks ago.
Well, guess you're missing out. Sorry, Cole.
I'm missing out. I was just there 2 weeks ago. I ain't gonna go back to Columbus just for that.
Yeah, nah, I wouldn't. I mean, for starters, it's Wendy's, okay? And then it's fast food, so I mean...
I quit.
Exactly. It's not McDonald's. It's not Burger King. It's
Yeah.
fucking
that-
Wendy's.
They're all terrible options.
They're all
I don't even
terrible.
know which one I'd want out of those three. Is Chick-fil-A an option out of those three? I'd rather have Chick-fil-A.
Well, it is, unless it's Sunday. I know that.
Yeah.
And
Or
yeah.
KFC.
And like my local KFC, or not KFC, Chick-fil-A is like an hour away in like the big city in the state. So yeah.
Well, that sucks because mine's like a 20-minute drive. I mean,
on the
must suck to be
on the
you.
turnpike, yeah. Good for
It
you.
It must suck to be you, man. I mean, like I can go like right now and be back by like 6:15, depending on how big the line is.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be huge anyway, so really it's gonna be like 6:30.
Yeah, okay. Good for you, I guess. And Google's bringing AI to the search with a product called Converse. It'll synthesize
Like the shoe?
I didn't think of it that way, but that's one way of
Like
putting
the
it.
shoe?
I guess. Converse.
Yeah, and they're calling
Kind of
Converse,
like how
which
they
is a shoe
added.
brand.
That is misleading.
I'm
That is
just
misleading
hoping.
and offensive.
I'm just hoping the AI they're adding in Google search isn't going to be like the AI in Snapchat and tell you how to cook meth. I'm not making that up. I'm not making that up.
What, has anybody used that? Because have you guys used that?
Yeah,
So
how
here's
much
the-
do you think Walter White learned
Okay.
how to cook?
Look, here's the thing. I did not get the AI update for Snapchat, so I have auto updates turned off, so I don't have it. But I know Cam got the update, and he tried to get rid of it. He was like, "You can't get rid of it."
No,
it's just there, and it's annoying, and it's bad. It's evil. It's
When
what it is.
when
Yeah.
I've seen videos of it, and it's like it doesn't really sound like you're talking to an AI. It does look like you're actually talking, like you're talking to an actual person.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know,
it's like it's trained to say, "Where's my location?" Oh, we don't know your location. Okay, where's the closest McDonald's? Oh yeah, it's just 5 minutes right from down the road. This is just stupid. But yeah, so back to Google though. It's going to be able to synthesize search results from complex queries, although it isn't clear which users will be able to access it or when it'll roll out. It's called part of an initiative called Search Generative Experience, or SGE. It's available to labs users and it'll be coming over the next few weeks. Users can access it by tapping on the labs icon in the Google app or in the desktop version of Google Chrome. And like many of the other features at I/O, there's a great emphasis on integrating other Google products and integrating it in other Google products and within Google's search index. They had a demo that showed how like searching for a new bike, or planning a family-friendly, dog-ready day trip could be helped with Converse. It'll offer a conversational mode where users can ask follow-up questions, kind of like ChatGPT, sort of. But they definitely wanted the people to know generative AI is experimental. They emphasized that right from the very beginning. So, yeah. Oh, and it'll create entire Google Docs and spreadsheets with help me write feature, and yeah, so that's cool. And the Bard chatbot, which I'm guessing is powering all of this, I don't know. Google has finally removed the waiting list, so it's gonna be available to just about anybody in the US, in the UK. So, yeah. Oh yeah, and there are protesters. Okay.
Who cares about them?
Yeah. Probably a good cause though. So that's all fine and dandy for Google, but I have some bad news. Do you guys pay for YouTube Premium?
I don't.
You don't?
I do.
I push through the ads.
I do.
Oh, well, if you have an ad blocker, it's not allowed on YouTube anymore. So,
Yeah, I don't think YouTube Premium's worth it.
well, if you're getting it just for ad-free YouTube, no. But if you're using like the YouTube stuff, then like the YouTube Music and all that, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't use that, so I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna cancel my subscription. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I don't know. I have it. It's cool, but I think they should have an ad-free option without the music. Just my thoughts. But yeah,
A lot of tech news today.
A lot of tech news, yeah.
What?
Yeah,
This has got to be a record long tech news.
Yeah,
pushing-
this will be a segment
what's
on
this?
its own.
It's 11 minutes now.
Oof. Yes.
Dang.
Yeah.
You ready to watch this? I'm about to get through sports news in like less than a minute.
All right. Bring it on.
All right, for sports news, we're going to catch you up on the NBA playoffs, where the number 1 seed Denver Nuggets are up 3-2 against the number 4 seed Phoenix Suns. I'll come back to you for a second in Matt. The Nuggets won the first 2 games in Denver, while Phoenix won the first 2 in Phoenix. But Denver won Game 5 last night and back in Denver, and they'll be going to Phoenix for Game 6. And on the other side of the West, it's the Lakers and the Warriors, LeBron versus Steph. A match we've seen in the finals many times, but not this time. Where it's now 3-1 LA leads. LA won the first game in Golden State, and Golden State won one game at home. But Los Angeles has won both games in LA so far. And on the East Coast, we've got the 76ers and the Celtics, where the Celtics lost game one and then won the next two. But now Philly's won the last two in a row, making it 3-2 Philly. And Miami's up 3-1 against the New York Knicks after winning both games in Miami. And that's it for me. Thank you, guys. Good job. Thank you for watching.
Okay.
Great people.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed us talk about Russia and Ukraine and sports and tech news.
All right.
Goodbye.
We will see you
North
next
Korea.
time.
See you next time. Goodbye.